Welcome to Logos Live. I'm Robert Martin, Director of the City Bible Forum in Melbourne, and I'm your host for the show. Logos is Greek for word or message, and Logos Live engages the Christian message before a live audience in the CBD of Melbourne. And do we have a live audience here today? Yes! There are a few live people out there. And we also aim to have a bit of fun. Who said exploring the big questions of life shouldn't be enjoyable? Melbourne is a funny city. It hosts the annual comedy festival, and people say funny things. But what about God? Does he share in the jokes? Does God laugh? This is the question that we're exploring today, and we're privileged to have a couple of comedians join us. Howard Langmead is an Anglican priest who doubles up as a stand-up comic. He's appeared at a number of Melbourne International Comedy Festival events, and he believes that the 11th commandment is thou shalt laugh. And he joins us now. Please welcome Howard Langmead.
G'day, Rob. Good to be here.
Glad that you're back again. Our second guest is Shelia Allen. Now, Shelia is a career consultant with noted careers, but also performs stand-up comedy. She's performed a number of shows, including the Melbourne Comedy Festival Raw Open Mic Comedy Competition. Please welcome Shelia Allen.
Hey! Hello. Thank you.
Welcome, Shelia. It's great that you can join us. Now, just to clarify, your name is Shelia, not Sheila. That's right?
Exactly.
Yes, because sometimes people get that confused. Is that right?
Well, when I first arrived in Australia, that was the first thing they said. Welcome to Australia, Sheila. I said, I ain't no Sheila, I'm Shelia. And he looked at my passport and he said, your L is in the wrong place. So there you go.
There you go. Welcome to Australia.
Thank you.
Now, Shelia, you have done open mic comedy. Now, tell us, what's that experience like? What is open mic comedy?
You actually want to die. But I like to feel like I've got the Holy Spirit there, and I want to feel like carbonated holiness there.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
It's funny.
So is open mic comedy scary?
Very scary. I want to die.
Yeah.
I dig my own grave.
Yeah.
And I carry my own cross.
Yeah.
So you're going to die. So, yes, it is. For me. I don't know about you.
Have you ever done open mic?
I've died on stage often, but I'm a Christian, so I believe in resurrection.
But then you got to come back out and you got to kill.
Do it all over again. That's right. Die, resurrect.
Just because we're interested, tell us about some of your death experiences. What happened?
You mean my death experiences?
Yeah, on stage, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was a death experience, but I had a group of guys, 9 of them I was performing with, and I was the only female, so they said that I was the sweet spot in the show, and I actually said, I really think they meant I was the piece of chocolate in the show, because I was the only black female there.
Right.
So they said they'd like to eat some of that. So I wanted to die, because I was embarrassed. But it was funny.
Yeah, what about you, Howard? Any
Too many deaths to remember. For a while I was doing a lot of pub stand-up open mic stuff, and in pub comedy they expect you to be rude, to be swearing. They're mostly drunk, and there are times that they simply didn't like clean humour, or my excuse was they were so blotto they actually couldn't get intelligent humour. So there are times you say a joke and they look at you and they swear back at me, like just provoke the priest. And a couple of times I just cut the routine short, walk off and pray.
You did that, no?
I've done that a couple of times in pubs.
You just kept going, did you, Shelia?
Oh no, well I had to because they told me to kill.
So you both do comedy. Now tell us how that happened. When did you realise that you might want to do stand-up comedy?
Well, you want me to go first?
Yeah,
well,
please.
I actually had no idea about doing anything like this because my grandson, I have a 9-year-old, well, my grandson was 9 years old at this time. He's a lot older than that now. And he says, Mumsy, when I grow up, I'm going to be like you. That's my grandmother's name, by the way. And I said, what are you going to be, honey? He says, I'm going to be a comedian. I said, but I'm not a comedian. He says, yes, you are. So I said, okay, here we go. It's another one in the family now. So that's how I did it.
Oh, really?
I did it for him.
It was a dad by your grandson?
He said, do it.
Wow.
So I did it.
Yeah, well, I began just practicing some comedy writing skits for church, like a few comedy skits. Went to a course on comedy writing, found out it was about stand-up. In this course, they said, go to a pub, write your stuff, give it a try. I went to Star and Garter Hotel in South Melbourne. First time I killed them. I loved it. It was so addictive. And then that was 15 years ago. And for 10 years, I was on the pub circuit, the club circuit, a few comedy festival shows. Now I've got old Don't do a lot of that anymore. Back in church.
Was it all downhill from there, from that first opening starring?
Yeah, no, went uphill, up and down. It was kind of interesting graph, really, up and down. Continued doing. What I got into after that was a lot of why do people laugh, laughter workshops, and I still do some of that stuff, teaching people how to laugh for health.
Yeah.
And you're a pastor.
I'm a pastor. I think I can interpret that language. She means pastor.
Yeah, I get told that every morning.
Right, okay. So now, Shelia and Howard, you're both Christian believers. Maybe, Shelia, do you want to share us a little bit of how that happened? What convinced you to become a Christian believer?
Well, I've been a Christian believer my entire life. I have to say I'm born to a Christian, so I don't think I had any other choice, but that was the best choice for me.
Yeah? How so? How was it a good choice for you?
Well, I've had a lot of things that happened to me. My mom died when I was 14 years old, so just that Christian upbringing from her was how I was able to go on and have the strength to keep the courage. So I found a lot of courage in laughing and making people laugh, and she was a person that I made laugh once. She told me to go to bed one night. She says, get in bed, it's time to go to sleep, and I thought she said, pick up the broom and start sweeping. And that's what I did, and that's when she started laughing. So I figured, that's a good way to help people. It's like medicine. Like laughter is medicine.
It's good medicine.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Do you get puzzled looks when people realise that you're a Christian and you do comedy?
I know. I asked this gentleman. I said, "Do you think God has a sense of humor?" He says, "I don't believe in God." I said, "Ooh, that's a hell of an answer," and he didn't like that. But it was a hell of an answer. So yes, I do.
You do get funny looks. How about you, Howard? I suppose being a priest,
Yeah.
you get some funny looks. Well, people swear at you.
Yeah, at first people thought I was joking because I was just jeans and T-shirt. And I said, I've got a day job. I'm a priest. Very funny line in a pub until they realise you mean it seriously. They thought it was hilarious that I was impersonating a priest. And then they realised I wasn't swearing. So then after a while on the pub circuit, they began to know who I was. And people were still a bit bemused, like, how can you be a comedian priest? But a lot of them then would say, you're really a priest? Let me talk to you about my problems. And so
it opened up a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, a number of comedians, like, for example, Fiona O'Loughlin, share amusing personal experiences, but I don't think that I've had that many funny things happen to me in my life. So how do you get inspiration for your material?
Well, I get inspiration every day because it's a holiday for me here.
Right.
Because, every day I'm a different person. I've been Whitney Houston. I've been Michelle Obama. I've been Oprah Winfrey. I said I'll be James Brown tomorrow, probably. I don't know. I've been every famous black person in America. So for me, every day it's humor.
Yeah, whereas my life has just been plain tragic. and if you stand up in a pub with drunk people and start telling them how tragic your life is, they laugh. And so there is something in an art of comedy of turning your tragedy into humour. I went through a marriage breakup over 25 years ago. I had 3 children on my own. I was a single parent for a while. And in a pub, that's funny. So I talk about being a single parent. Lots of stories in my stand-up. Talk about being in the church, sort of groan about bishops, which everyone's got a boss.
Oh, yeah.
I just turned the tragedy of my life into something funny. It's a matter of saying, how can I frame this in a way that actually will touch their funny bone?
So how much preparation do you then do? Like, do you go to strangers in a train and say, hey, look, I've got a new joke. What do you think of this?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No?
No. It just has to come. You find it. I found it with you today. I found it with this gentleman. I can't remember his name.
The man trying to get out. Lock that door! Close the door!
I was trying to find my way here, and I looked over and I said, hey, I know that head. And I walked in. This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Hey, so you find the humor. So I'll probably use that in another joke somewhere.
No, I practice my humour, but not on strangers on the train. I talk to my wife. I say, I've written something, sit down. She says, oh, no. She can't stand the pressure of me saying, is this funny? But I still do it.
So you mentioned the pressure. There's pressure. Is there pressure when you're a comedian? Yep. Whenever someone meets you, say, "Oh, go on, tell us a joke." How do you feel about that?
Are you going to say that today? Because it's awfully pressuring.
Just answer the question.
Yeah, people say, "Tell us a joke." Do you tell jokes?
You don't do that. I don't have
Modern
jokes.
stand-up comedy is not joke telling. It's telling the story of my life with a humor. It's exaggerating. It's just embalming things in a certain way that makes the dead things look funny.
Exactly. Like I do.
Okay, so tell us a joke.
I'll tell you a joke.
Okay.
Never use it. Never use this on stage. Never use it in comedy. I got it from my daughter, who's but it's a riddle. What did the fish say when he swam into the brick wall? Damn. It's a Christian joke because it's about fish, which is silent. And it's about watching out for being damned, and I could preach a sermon on it, but I won't.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, please don't.
I like that.
You'd be surprised how often I've heard that. Please don't preach.
So if you had
And that's in
any
church.
joke, so thank you for that profound
You're welcome.
reflection that you've just given us.
You'll
there,
never
Howard.
ask me again,
No,
will
I
you?
won't. But have any jokes that you've tried that have just gone wrong or been misinterpreted?
Mine are not mentioned. My husband said they're not funny. He said, I've heard that over and over again. So
Right.
every day is something funny, I find. And I figure if he doesn't laugh at it, someone else will. But he
Right.
says it's not funny. He's heard it over and over
Even
again.
you being James Brown? James Brown, he doesn't find that funny?
Yeah, your husband doesn't mind you being James Brown?
No, he hasn't heard that one.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but everywhere we go, it's some type of spectacle. They wanted to know who I am. He thinks they're looking at him.
Right.
My husband's Australian, by the way.
Right. Yes.
That's how I got here.
Right, that makes sense.
Yes, he said I didn't realize I was coming to Australia. I thought I was going to Austria.
So you're looking forward to European kind of Alps and those sort of things when you come
Practicing
here.
your German.
Oh, kangaroos. Okay. Yeah, he said cowboys and Indians.
Okay, right. So Shelia, you're a woman who does comedy. Now, comedy seems to
He's
be...
very observant.
Thank you. I'm glad people laughed. That's right, yeah. Comedy does seem to be dominated by men. Why do you think that is?
Well, why is that? I have to ask him. Why is that?
I try so hard not to dominate comedy.
I don't know why, because I think women are just funny naturally.
Yeah.
Men have to make it up.
Yeah. I could dig the hole deeper, so I will.
And jump in.
Yeah, well, bleh, as I do. In our upbringing, traditionally, I'm not so sure it applies, but traditionally, boys are encouraged to be more outgoing, to be funny. Girls are encouraged to be more demure and not to take a front line. I think more boys, as children, practice just getting attention by getting laughs.
Not in my house.
I'm not surprised.
The
Other way around in my house.
I can see that, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay,
So every day I wake up, I have it. My husband says, speak English today. That's what he says. He said, I don't know what you're saying. That's how I get him to marry me, by the way.
Right.
He didn't know what I was saying.
So he said yes.
Yes,
and
he
then
said yes.
I said, oh, well, there we go. Yeah,
That's
here's the
it.
ring. That's right.
Not going
now,
back.
Okay. Now, we do try to have a little bit of fun on Logos Live. Now, it's not a sin to laugh.
As opposed to what we've been doing.
So as
You made me start now.
As comedians, I thought I'd test you with a short little quiz on how well do you know laughter. Okay, so here we go. Now, Howard, you do laughter workshops. How many calories does laughing for 15 minutes burn?
That's my answer. I do know it burns calories. It's good physical exercise. How many? 100?
100? How many would you say, Shelia?
Wow, 100.
That's not that many, yeah.
It's not that many?
No, it's
You
not.
get a clue. It's not that many.
25.
Yeah, there we go. Congratulations.
Oh,
Give each other your hands. 10 to 40 calories. Now, apparently, laughter can't be used as a weight loss or exercise regime. You'd have to laugh. Yeah, I know, it's just a shame. You'd have to laugh for 12 hours to burn a single pound, apparently. So, laughing may contribute to a calorie burn, but not significantly enough to cause weight loss. Over the course of a whole year, laughing 15 minutes a day will help you drop just 2 kilos. So, and also by comparison,
It's all right.
19 minutes of barbecuing apparently will burn 50 calories as well. So it's similar to barbecue.
But if you laugh while you're barbecuing, you're home and hosed.
So you
That's
do,
in a year.
So you do laughter workshops, Howard.
Yeah.
Is it true that laughter is the best medicine?
I believe so. But, partly because that's in the Bible. Proverbs 17:22, a cheerful heart is like a good medicine. God said it first, not the Reader's Digest. So if it's in the Bible, yeah, it is. It's the best medicine in terms of it does... well, you still should take your antidepressants at the same time, but I make sure I do. But it releases endorphins in the body, it releases stress, and as you know, much disease comes from stress. And laughter is a natural stress release. So when we laugh, we release stress, we release endorphins, we exercise the body. It's pretty healthy.
I try to get my dose every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day?
Right now.
Is there anything that you use to get your dose of laughter?
Just get up
get
in the
up.
morning and look in the mirror.
I was gonna say the same.
Just
I
get up
look in the
morning and
mirror.
Look in the mirror. Yes.
Works
and
for me.
laughter is like also the fountain of youth, is what I say. Because I have a son 40 years old, and people think he's my husband. So there you go.
I've got a daughter 38 years old, and people think
there
she's
you
my
go.
mother.
Okay, now for something completely different. According to some random clickbait number list, which is the top evil laugh of movie history? Was it 1, A, Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, B, The Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, C, Dracula from Count Dracula, or D, the Joker from the Batman franchise? Which is the top evil laugh of movie history?
The Joker.
The Joker?
I'd go for the Wicked Witch.
Well, actually, it depends on which list you use. Because, but apparently, but it seems as though that the Wicked Witch was the one, and apparently another Dr. Evil from Austin Powers was another one. But the Wicked Witch is generally the winner, appearing in a number of clickbait lists as the most evil laugh.
So who was that again?
The Wicked Witch of the West,
Oh.
from the Wizard of Oz.
Can you do it?
No. But you do it really well. That's it. You've got it.
Wow, I'm spooked. So what constitutes?
Oh, that was good.
What constitutes an evil laugh? Why do villains laugh when hatching their evil plans?
Because laughter, like many of God's good gifts, can be used for good or it can be used for evil. And so there is a good laughter. There's stress release, there's fun, there's joyful laughter, but there's also a laughing down and a cynical sort of laugh, and that's not very healthy. So there's a sinister side to a good gift. Laughter can be pretty nasty.
Well, I think I'm feeling powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes them feel powerful to laugh like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just keeps growing and keeps brewing.
Yes.
So there you go.
Well, thank you.
No.
So, that concludes our little laughter quiz. So in our laughter quiz, I think you both got one right. So give them a little round of applause.
Oh, yay! Thank you.
So laughter is universal. We're all born with a capacity to laugh. Even deaf people laugh. So why do we laugh?
I think it's innate.
Physiologists have looked at this, and most would say that it would have originally come as a body stress release. People who study evolution say the people who laughed lived. If you didn't laugh, you died, usually from stress disease. But the fact that all human beings laugh means it's something that was part of our survival, and probably by release of stress. And so you get tense, you laugh, you release it. The other side, sociologists will say that laughter actually creates positive relationships, and our survival depends on good relationships, and expressing joy, happiness, humour is a way of establishing a positive relationship with someone else.
The reason I said it was innate, because there was I don't know if it was a survey that was being done, but I read an article where the hospital had this little baby that was born deaf and blind. And the baby was about 3 months old, and they just kind of tickled it with a little soft animal, and the baby just started giggling and laughing. So the baby had never heard it before and never seen anyone laugh, so it's just, I felt it's just a part of who we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I heard the musician Ben Folds at a concert once, and he started his show by singing.
As he does. You must have been very relieved to hear that.
It was, yes, it wasn't a mime show. If there's a God, he's laughing at us and our football team. It's from his song Effington. Does God laugh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. God and I have a good
God's
chuckle
laugh.
quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he laughs at our victories, and he also laughs at those that are unbelievers.
Yeah.
Believers. So God sits in heaven laughing.
Well, we'll get to that, because actually that's part of the Logos. As part of Logos Live, we reflect on the scriptures, the Logos, and we're going to explore a little bit more about laughter in a section of the Old Testament, a psalm. It's Psalm 2, so let me read it out for you. Why do the nations conspire and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth rise up and the rulers band together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their chains and throw off their shackles. The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. He rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I have installed my king on Zion, my holy mountain. Now, this passage does speak about God laughing, but it's not because someone's cracked a good joke, is it? Howard, what's this passage saying?
God's laughing because the kings of the earth, the people who don't know God, are plotting against his anointed. And to me, it's that laugh of assurance. They think they can touch God's people, and God just laughs at them. It says in derision, but in actual fact, it's the laugh of confidence. And I think Christians can laugh that way. So rather than getting stressed by what's happening in the world and fearful of all the things that might happen, we can say, God is sovereign, God is in control, I'm laughing. And I actually think that sense of relief laughter, confidence laughter, is a good use that Christians should have. People think they can get in the way of God's plan, but we know who's boss. And that's what I see there. God says, you think you can touch my anointed, I'm laughing.
I agree with that.
Oh, good.
Yes, yes.
I'm so relieved, yeah.
But yes,
So his laughter comes from a position of security.
Yes.
of knowing.
And of knowing. Yes.
Sovereignty, yeah.
So
Instead of assurance.
who do you think are these kings and of the earth and these rulers that he's laughing at?
Well, it says that they're people trying to touch the Lord's anointed. So in that original context, there are nations around trying to do things against God's people, the Jewish people, and this is a sense of when God is looking at you, his anointed, he's laughing. You're safe. He's not anxious. He's just laughing at them, saying, "You think you can touch my anointed?" In New Testament terms, through Jesus, who is the anointed one, it's that sense that Satan thinks he can attack Jesus. God's laughing because he has the last victory. And for us as Christians, we say, we're in Christ. We don't need to fear the people. So the kings could be the nations of old time, Satan and his ploys, and anyone who's trying to attack good Christian comedians.
Thank you for that, Pastor Howard.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Pastor.
Pastor.
Pastor. Yeah, pastor.
So, but is God here, though, he's laughing? Is he a bit like these evil despotic rulers laughing at the sinister plots of these other people?
There's no sense in this that God is evil. In fact, in this, the evil is what the kings of the earth are doing. And God's laughter is against them, saying that is, you don't know what you're doing. I'm laughing because I'm actually going to have the final victory. There's a sense
There
of
you go.
confidence. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, there's a sense of confidence. You agree?
I agree with that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I do.
Do you agree, Rob?
I mean, he's
We
the
got-
pastor, so, he understands that part of the Bible. I read it, but you're a pastor.
So I pretend to understand it.
That's right. No, this is a royal messianic psalm, which speaks about this future anointed king, the one that we've just mentioned, God's chosen one. Now, the chosen ones are a bit of a common theme in movies like Kung Fu Panda, the chosen one in the Lego movie, Neo from The Matrix, Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars. Now, in verse 6, he speaks about this chosen king who he has installed. So who is this king?
I actually think the Psalms will have more than one meaning. So in the first instance, it's King David and his descendants. In its ultimate prophetic meaning, it's Jesus. So I would say both are true. It's written as a psalm about David, but actually its fulfillment comes in Jesus Christ.
You're testing my Bible knowledge here.
Questions just come through, which I'll ask. God promised Abraham and Sarah a child in their old age. Sarah laughed.
She laughed.
Is God amusing in what he does in our lives? Sorry, is God amusing in what he does in our lives?
Yeah,
I
and then
love
the
that
word,
story.
the name
Yeah.
Isaac means she
To
laughed.
laugh.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
laughs.
He laughs.
Yeah, he laughs.
Yeah.
I love that story.
So the question again?
I
I got the story. What was the question?
Is God amusing in what he does in our lives?
Yeah. Depends how you see that. Yeah, look, I think sometimes when we hear what God is doing, we chuckle, we laugh. Unfortunately, like Sarah, sometimes it's a bit of laughter and disbelief, like she's, I'm
Yeah,
so
right.
old.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Me have a baby.
100 years old.
I've done that to God. Me be a pastor. Oh, okay. Me be a comedian. Oh, okay. So sometimes we laugh because we don't quite accept it. And then we think, oh, God can do that in me. So I think in Sarah's laugh, to be honest, it's a bit of she's not accepting and she laughs it off. But then she discovers that God has the final word. And then that lovely irony of calling the child. He laughs. And rather than pretending we didn't laugh, say, let's celebrate the laugh.
Well, apparently Woody Allen said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him about your plans.
Yeah.
That was his...
That actually is a rephrasing of Psalm 2. The kings of the earth. You want to make God laugh? Tell him what your plans are. That's exactly what happened in Psalm 2.
Now, there are other instances of God laughing in the scriptures. For example, Psalm 37, 12 to 13 says, the wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them, but the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. Here God laughs at the wicked, but it's slightly different because God is looking to the future. It's not so much laughing in derision at the rulers, but he's saying, I know what's going to happen to you. So why would God laugh in this situation?
Again, I see it as a laughter of joy and confidence. So there's God knows what will happen. In terms of anthropomorphism, turning it into as like a human, we're in that similar situation of the Lord because we know that the day of the Lord is going. There's a confidence in that, so we can look at the world which looks like it's going to hell in a basket. If things look like they're out of control, we can say we actually know what the end is. The end is the coming of Jesus and the certainty of his reign. Because of that certainty, I'm laughing. There's a confidence in that laugh rather than anxiety.
Laughing also diffuses it so much. You know, so a lot of things happen in people's lives, and if you're able to laugh and find the joy in it and understand what you have to look forward in the future. I mean, I have had my baby died when she was 3 months old, so I've had a lot of death in my life. My mom died when I was 14, but I count all of that for joy because I have so much to look forward to, and so much it gave me strength.
Well, let's think a bit about the future, because there is a sense in which the Christian hope is in joy in the future, a heavenly hope. And the late Robin Williams hoped that there would be laughter in heaven. Like you arrive and God says, two Jews walk into a bar. Will there be laughter in heaven?
Are you going to heaven?
Of course there's
going to be laughter in heaven.
There's going to be singing, there's going to be dancing, there's going to be everything like that in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, I know that. Even children's laughter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Heaven.
Do you agree?
Yeah, heaven in Scripture is just seen as the redeemed and perfect and eternal version of the best on earth as God created it. And we'll be in our bodies. It'll be real. It'll be lively. We're going to eat fish because Jesus did after he was resurrected, and we're going to laugh.
Yeah.
But back to that second Psalm passage, Psalm 37, where the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. Is that also a warning against judgment?
Yeah.
Can I answer? Well, I don't know if this is the right answer for this one, for that particular question, but I sort of, in a way, feel like, that's why the Lord gave us children. That's kind of our payback. So he's laughing. Because, he can laugh at what's happening because the children are giving us the payback. So I know it's probably totally different, but I see it that way also. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, Howard, this passage warning against laughing in the face of judgment?
It's got to be seen in the light of that first two sentences. The wicked, what they're doing is they're plotting against the righteous and they're gnashing their teeth at them. So you've got these wicked people plotting and gnashing against God's people, the righteous. The Lord laughs because he knows where that's going to end up. So it's not so much I'm going to judge you, but that behaviour, in the end, we know where that will lead. And so it's not so much I'm laughing because I'm judging you. I'm laughing because I'm sure about the end of the righteous and where your wickedness will lead you.
So, Shelia and Howard, we've been thinking about laughter. Does God laugh?
Yeah.
absolutely.
I certainly hope so, or I'm in trouble.
And that's why children come into the world, they laugh 300 times a day, they say. And here, adults, grown people, we laugh 3 to 4 times a day. So I make it my point to laugh as much as I possibly can.
Amen.
So why do children laugh so much?
Yeah. Well, let me leave you with the Logos for the day. Psalm 2, 5 and 6. The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. He rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I have installed my king on Zion, my holy mountain. I look forward to you joining us next time for Logos Live. Please thank our guests today, Howard Langmead and Shelia Allen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.